In today's episode of The Bugs, Buzz and Beyond, we're chasing a name that sounds light, poetic, and just a little bit confusing. A creature that flutters like a floating flower, lives a double, or rather triple, life, and somehow became the poster insect for beauty, change, and notebooks with inspirational quotes. But behind that delicate reputation is a surprisingly weird story. Why is it called a butterfly? Let's address the tiny elephant with wings in the room. Butter. Fly. Put together, it sounds like either a flying dairy product or a very specific kitchen disaster. And no, butterflies are not made of butter. They don't taste like butter. They don't produce butter. And despite rumors, they are not secretly sponsored by breakfast. The name butterfly has puzzled humans for centuries, and that's because its origins are messy. One popular theory traces it back to old European folklore, where people believed witches could turn into butterflies and steal milk or butter. So, when your butter went missing? Obviously, not poor storage, witch butterflies. Another theory points to color. Early English speakers may have noticed yellow butterflies, especially the brimstone butterfly, whose buttery color looked like it escaped straight out of a churn. Over time, butter-colored fly may have been shortened to butterfly because humans love efficiency almost as much as we love confusing future generations. Either way, the name stuck, and honestly, for an insect that spends its life redefining itself, a mysterious name feels appropriate. What makes butterflies truly special isn't just their name, it's their life story. Butterflies undergo complete metamorphosis, which is a scientific way of saying, I will become an entirely different creature. They start as caterpillars, long, squishy eating machines with one goal: consume everything in sight. Leaves? Yes. More leaves? Absolutely. Their job is to grow, shed skin, and prepare for the biggest glow-up in the insect world. Then comes the chrysalis, not a cocoon. Important distinction. Butterflies make chrysalises, moths make cocoons. When the butterfly finally emerges, it's lighter, quieter, and built for flight, not chewing. In fact, most butterflies don't even have mouths designed for biting anymore. Butterfly wings look like stained glass, kissed by sunlight. But here's the twist. Those colors often aren't from pigments. They're from microscopic scales that bend and reflect light. Change the angle, and the color shifts. It's physics doing art. Those scales also explain why touching butterfly wings is a bad idea. When scales rub off, it's like tearing pages out of a book. Butterflies can survive minor damage, but excessive handling can make flying harder or impossible. So admire with your eyes, not your fingers. Butterflies don't just float around being inspirational. They are pollinators, food sources for other animals, and key players in ecosystems. Plants depend on them. They're delicate, but they're not useless. And despite their fragility, some butterflies are incredible travelers. Monarchs migrate thousands of kilometers across generations, following routes their great-great-grandparents somehow remembered without GPS, maps, or panic. If that's not impressive, consider this. Butterflies existed long before humans named them. So, Why butterfly? In the end, the name doesn't perfectly describe the insect, and maybe that's the point. Butterflies are contradictions, fragile but resilient, silent but influential, simple in appearance, wildly complex in biology. Butterfly isn't a scientific name. It's a human one. A word born from folklore, observation, misunderstanding, and imagination. And somehow, it fits. Because butterflies remind us that not everything needs to make perfect sense to be beautiful. Now, it's time to see how much you've learned from today's episode. We've got 3 fun trivia questions coming up. Ready? Let's start. Question 1. What is the most likely origin of the word butterfly? A. They produce butter-like substances. B. They were named after dairy farms. C. Folklore and the color of yellow butterflies. D. They were first discovered near butter churns. The correct answer is C. Folklore and the color of yellow butterflies. Early beliefs about butter-stealing witches and observations of butter-colored butterflies likely influenced the name. Let's try another question. Question 2. What happens inside a butterfly's chrysalis? A. The caterpillar sleeps and grows wings. B. The caterpillar's body is completely reorganized. C. The caterpillar practices flying. D. Nothing. It's just a protective shell. The correct answer is B. The caterpillar's body is completely reorganized. During metamorphosis, tissues break down and reform into an entirely new body structure. Let's move on to the last question for this episode. Question 3. Why are butterfly wings so colorful? A. They are painted with natural dyes. B. They absorb sunlight. C. They are covered in reflective microscopic scales. D. They change color depending on mood. The correct answer is C. They are covered in reflective microscopic scales. These tiny scales bend light, creating vivid colors without relying solely on pigments. Great job if you got all 3 questions correct. If you missed any, don't worry. You've just learned some fascinating facts about one of nature's most misunderstood flyers. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.